I'm Skip Miller. I'm 20 years old. I'm a sophomore on the softball team here at OU.
My name is Edie Sawyer. I'm 19 years old. I'm a sophomore on the swimming and diving team.
My name's Reagan Farmer. I'm 18. I'm a sophomore and I play softball.
My name is Julia Strun. I am 19. I'm a sophomore at Ohio University and I'm on the women's swim and dive team.
My name's Caroline Dunnigan. I'm 20 years old. I'm a junior and I swim on the swim and dive team.
Overall, I think some women's sports aren't as featured compared to like men's sports. And I know like some women's sports don't always get the same opportunities as men's sports. Like when it comes to athletic training, like in the training room, getting posted on social media, that kind of stuff. A lot of the times like a lot more popular like men's sports get posted more like over women's sports.
Boys always have the opportunity to, if they want to play football, like they can play pro. And like it's like for girls, they know that they can't. It's like I've always known that college is like the end of the line for me because so few women can go pro versus like men because of the like leagues and the overall coverage that men get.
I think gender is super important in sports as far as equity with funding as far as women's sports go. And the strides that we've taken in the past couple years, and especially since Title IX, in leveling the playing field between women's and men's sports.
I think it's influenced it in many different ways, but I'll highlight two of them. So I think being a woman in sport and being on an all-women's team is extremely beneficial because we learn to uplift each other as a community of women. And then on the not so great side, it is difficult being a woman in sports because you are constantly compared to men, and sometimes women's sports are not cared about or valued as much as men's sports.
In high school, our practices, I feel like were always catered towards the boys. Our coach would pay attention more to the boys because they could do the faster times, and they were just generally faster. So for a while, he would only pay attention to them. I mean, they can lift more. So I just feel like as a girl, you're always kind of kicked off to the side unless you stand up for yourself and ask for that special attention.
I think that overall women's sports are not always as popular as men's sports, so being on a team that's all women definitely brings just more recognition.
Definitely not. I think being gay myself, I don't feel like that part of me has anything to do with how I swim. It doesn't matter at practice, and it never should to anyone. And so being a girl in that sense, gender, it shouldn't matter. If you're good, you're good. I know here some of the male sports don't respect us as much because they don't understand how women's sports work in general, so they just think, oh, we lift more in the weight room, we're better than you, but it's that's not how it works.
So for me, it's always been athlete first, but I think that sexuality plays an important role in representing those that have smaller voices when it comes to real world issues. So I think it's a cool opportunity to be a good athlete, but also represent those that aren't heard as often as I might be as an athlete.
It definitely does play a role because it's biological. Obviously a male has a lot more abilities than a female. That is common sense. So obviously they're going to outcompete a biological female.
I don't really think that's fair. Men just get a lot more recognition than women do. So it's it seems like they're more respected in that way. And I feel like women should get that same amount of respect as well, the same amount of recognition.
I think it's just extremely unfair, and I think that women work just as hard and because of that deserve the same opportunities.
Well, you can see it by the coverage. Men's sports get covered more than women's sports. I didn't even know there was a WNBA until I was probably in late middle school. It's always been men get coverage, and it's they're the ones that are breaking world records. A woman breaks a world record, but a guy could go that easily. They're doing the impossible. So it's people want to see the impossible, not just oh, some girl did really well too. But
yeah, they definitely have a bigger game than female, but I feel like now people are like realizing like women are very like underrated or like underplayed when it comes to like sports. So I feel like women, when they do get the opportunity and they create a name for themselves, they are like more well respected.
I find a lot of times that my strength gets compared to male athletes. Like, wow, like you're almost as strong as a guy. Which is, it's seen as a compliment and it's appreciated, but I think that typically makes women be seen as weak, even in the athletic world where we're not. And so I think that women and their feats and their athletic talents are often compared to men's. And me personally, being bigger and being stronger, I'm often compared to men as far as strength, rather than just being a strong woman.
I think it was the women's NCAA basketball tournament that was like the equivalent of like the men's March Madness. Whenever it came to social media's attention that the women were not given a full weight room, they were only given hand dumbbells that only went up to I think 30 pounds and then yoga mats, whereas the men were given a full gym filled with like 20 squat racks, bench racks, everything like that. It just like really showed that whoever was holding the March Madness like didn't value the women as much as the men because they didn't equip them with the proper tools that they needed to compete in their tournaments. So that was just one thing like recently where I was like, wow, like there needs to be a change here.
Growing up, I would be made fun of for having a muscular build and traveling and competing as like much as I did. Like obviously if I was a male that wouldn't be an issue, but being muscular female, people kind of stare.
I did want to play baseball when I was younger because, I started playing softball and then my brother was playing baseball and it seemed like it was just like more involved. Like softball throws underhand and I like just wanted to throw overhand because I just felt like I was better at that, and I just wanted to play baseball, but it was kind of like, well, the boys play baseball. It's like you have the opportunity to play softball with the girls, why would you not? But I just like always wished I could have played baseball.
One thing that definitely did shock me was like with Leah Thomas, the transgender woman who swims for the University of Pennsylvania, just all the controversy around her swimming with the women, where like before she swam with the men, and like all that controversy is definitely something that kind of shocked me, because like it is something that was different, like it was something that was new and people were trying to kind of navigate that and like figure out what they should do, but like there was definitely just a lot of like different viewpoints on that, so that was really shocking.